Hi guys, this is Bree. Again, I'm back. I'm just filming a welcome video because I don't have my notes here. This is how unprepared I was to take this video. When we closed our studios in 2020, when we closed Happy Flow Yoga, Fullerton and Happy Flow Yoga Placentia, they were such... my entire heart, everything that I had in my emotions went into those studios, went into the students, went into the teachers, and it was so traumatic for me. And those of you who knew me back then, I just pushed things under the carpet. And so when we closed, I was like, okay, no more yoga, no more yoga, no more meditation, no more philosophy, no more anything, no more responsibility. I swore off of all of it because I was in so much pain because of my baby. It was my children. It was everything. I really put the studios over everything. And when we closed, it was a big hit to my ego because it failed. It was not able to withstand a big struggle, right? It was a big struggle. A lot of places closed, a lot of studios closed, a lot of everything closed, right? It changed everybody's lives. And so one, I felt like a failure because the business was not able to survive that. And two, I felt like a failure to the students who had called my home their home. And I felt like they entrusted within me their secrets, the keys to their hearts, not just me, but the studio, right? I represent the studio, and they went to the studio and they cried and they achieved and they broke through glass ceilings, and we closed that. We gave up, essentially. And I can never forgive myself for that. And I gave up yoga because it's too hard to I'm in the jungle. Okay, so I'm gonna pause. I don't even have a pen. I have my notes on here of what I want to talk about with this welcome back video, and I didn't even bring a pen with me. I didn't bring my computer with me. I didn't bring a pen with me. I don't have paper, notepads. I'm a mom now. I am a stay-at-home mom. It is my life. My older one is back here. My younger one is sleeping upstairs. We're in the Dominican Republic for Charles, for a work retreat for him. And we did a meditation the first night we were here, and it's the first time I've meditated in 4 years. The last video I took about yoga, I cried. It's the last time I've meditated in 4 years. And last night we did a yoga class. It was the first yoga class I've done in 4 years. And almost to the day, right? We're in May. That's around the time that we closed the studios, and maybe that's why I'm feeling all these emotions rushing up. But I've been thinking about coming back to yoga for a while, but I feel so dirty doing it. I feel so dirty coming back to yoga because I left you all. I couldn't handle it. I couldn't deal with it, so I just wiped my hands clean of all the people that I told that they could trust me. all of our students, I gave a promise, whether they knew it or not, I gave a promise that they would be safe in our studio and our space. And they trusted us to be safe in the studio. And then it got hard and we closed. And a lot of people who I've talked to over the years said, like, a lot of businesses closed. Businesses that have been open for 20 plus years closed. Some businesses that shouldn't have stayed in business were able to withstand it. Part of that reason that we were not able to withstand it was because we had a really great culture, and I've looked inward a lot. I haven't done yoga, but I've done a lot of internal work in the past couple years, and I excelled in the relationship with the students, and I did not excel with the relationship with our team, with our employees. And there were a lot of surprises to me and things that Charles and I dealt with and that I've still been dealing with, that consequences for my actions that kind of felt like a shock in the moment. But now that I look back, I'm like, well, Brie, you were rude, you were frank, you were all or nothing, you were a boss. I was a boss. And so I understand why a lot of what happened while we owned the studios and after. And I didn't want to come back to yoga because how terrible of me to create a studio, to create a safe place, to tell you to come to this safe place, to tell you to open up your hearts, and then for me to just close it on you, move 40 minutes away, and then be like, hey guys, I'm doing yoga again. How awful of me to even suggest that. So in the first couple months, I was like, no yoga. One, because it's bringing up too many issues in me. And two, that's so not fair to my Placentia yogis. You didn't even necessarily know they wanted yoga in the first place. I came to you. I came to Placentia. There was no yoga in Placentia. And how dare of me to assume that you would just follow me to the beach, right? And so those are some reasons why I've stayed away. But the number one reason is because it's just, every time I think about it, it brings up all of the emotions. I have my notes here. I have a ton of anger towards everybody, towards the government, stupid Newsom. Sorry if you love him. I have a lot of friends that love him, and I can't stand a hypocrite, and I feel like he was very hypocritical during that time. That's all I'm going to get into politics. I just feel like we closed our business because we couldn't do certain things that he was doing, and he was telling us not to do him. Rules of thee, but not for me. Whatever the saying is. So I have a lot of anger towards him specifically. I have a lot of anger towards the way I feel like that time period is going to be in history books and the history teachers are going to say, could we have done this differently? And maybe we could have, but we wouldn't have been able to know back then. So my anger is kind of misguided, right? Because it's not, everybody was doing their best. If we want to think about I'm all over the place, and I knew that this video was going to be all over the place. And I literally decided to make this video yesterday. And my friend said, maybe your first video is just a cry session. And I was like, I'm going to tell her after this. She'll be like, I cried. I'm a mom now. I have 2 babies. I have a almost 5-month-old, and I have an almost 2-year-old down here. And we are parenting with the thought, my child is good, from Dr. Becky. If you've never read that book, Good Inside, I've done a lot of reading. I've done a lot of reading on parenting. So if you think about your child as being inherently good, no matter what they do, they just threw their toy across the room. Okay. Instead of being like, my child is bad, I stop all of it and I say, okay, if I look at my child as my child is inherently good, there is another reason than my child trying to ruin my day, my child trying to be bad, my child trying to do something naughty. There's another reason that's more innocent than what my initial thought is. And so if I look back at the government, if I look back at the teachers who I felt turned their back on me, if I look at my relationship with Charles, if I look at the landlords of the studios, if I look at some of the things that people said to me as we were closing, sorry, we're in the jungle, so we're gonna hear some loud noises. Motorcycle just rode by. If I look at all of those things, my instant reaction is they're trying to hurt me. They're doing this because they have malicious intent. But then if I stop and I start to look at it in the way that I'm parenting my littles, maybe it has nothing to do with me. Maybe the most innocent reason why they would make that action, or why they would say those things, or why they would do that thing, maybe the most innocent reason has nothing to do with me. I know my teachers were probably very hurt, and I was thinking about it a couple days ago. I've thought about, it might look like on Instagram and on social media that I have left yoga, but I think about yoga and my teachers and my mistakes a lot. I think about my teachers, especially the ones that went full steam ahead into Happy Flow. How scary it must have been. Especially for the teachers that stopped working other places, that put all of their classes and all of their time and energy into Happy Flow, and then all of a sudden we're like, peace out guys, we're closing, we're moving to the beach, we're ending this life, sorry, figure it out. How scary that must have been for them. How you put all of your trust into somebody and then they just drop the ball. So when I look at it that way, some of the things that happened, it probably had nothing to do with me. It probably had everything to do with them feeling mistreated. So yeah, I have a lot of anger. I have a lot of sadness, because I miss my people. I miss talking to everybody. I miss seeing everybody smile. I miss seeing everybody feel refreshed when they left. And I have a lot of resentment, and I have a lot of regret. None of those are good feelings that I have inside my heart. I didn't want to come back to yoga for me, because it's not about me. I can do other things. I started my candle company. Now I'm full-fledged mom. I'm a total stay-at-home mom, guys. You would love it. I put all of the effort that I put into my businesses, and I have created a business in my home. And I'd take a little break because little one woke up and is very hungry. But this is Mackenzie, and the one sleeping behind me is Maverick. So I've moved my entire life, my entire identity has shifted from yoga girl to mom. And I know that there's more than yoga girl and mom. There's Bree. And it's not just Bree the yogi, because when we closed Happy Flow Yoga, it was Bree, she does yoga. And now it's Bree, she's a stay-at-home mom of 2 under 2. And I just wanted to be Bree. Bree who has a big heart, because I do. And I mess up a lot, and I have a huge ego, and I think I'm amazing at everything, and I think I'm the funniest person in the room, and I think I'm the hardest worker. And sometimes all those things that I think are true, and sometimes they're not, and those are my biggest faults, that I think I know what's best. And I didn't want to just come back. Come here. Come here. Come here. Eat. I didn't want to just come back to yoga because I needed something. But the other day I meditated for the first time in 4 years. And yesterday I did a yoga class for the first time in 4 years. There's Mackenzie. There's Mackenzie Mamas. She's 4.5 months. She is total opposite of her brother. Yeah. You looking at Mama's notes? Yeah? You looking at Mama's notes? Yeah. So we did a yoga class yesterday, and he opened the class with philosophy. Never in all of my time doing yoga has the teacher opened up the class. We had the first 15 minutes was philosophy only. Never have I ever done a class where the first 15 minutes was philosophy only. And he went through the sutras, and he went through Patanjali's work, and I was like, this is what I'm missing. This is what I'm being called back. I've been thinking about it. I don't know how to come back to it because like I said, I don't want to open up a studio again. That's the wrong move. I don't want to teach perfect yoga classes. If you follow me on Instagram, everything is imperfect. Everything is just when it happens, it happens. I get interrupted a lot with my kiddos. But I have a lot to share. I learned a lot when I was doing yoga. There's a lot of philosophy that I can benefit from, that I know that other people can benefit from, that they don't know about, right? There's a lot to teach. There's a lot to share. There's a lot that I have inside of me that others can benefit from. So something that triggered that yesterday when we took this class was he walked through the yamas and the niyamas. And it was like he picked up a mirror and he put it in front of me. And I was like, man, I have not been following the practices that I asked others to follow, that are still following it. So I just want to talk about the yamas really fast, because the yamas are the things that we don't do in our life. There's yamas and there's niyamas. And the limbs. There's 8 limbs of yoga. And I think there's 2 of the limbs are, one is the yamas, one is the niyamas. The yamas are the things that we do not do, that we try to abstain from. And the niyamas are the things that we try to do. We try to keep clean, and there's a whole list of niyamas. But today I'm going to talk about the yamas. And I think the only one that I've kept in touch with, which was my favorite one, was ahimsa, which is non-harming, because I practiced that before I became a yogi, and I will forever practice it, and it's non-harming. And first, let me go down the list of the yamas. So ahimsa, which is non-harming, satya, which is truth, asteya, which is non-stealing, brahmacharya, which is moderation, and aparigraha, which is greed. So we want to stay away from non-harming. We want to stay away from harm. So we don't want to harm people. We want to stay away from non-truthfulness. We want to be truthful. We don't want to steal. We don't want to take from others. That's the third one. The fourth one is we want everything to be in moderation, right? You drink 20 gallons of water in one day, you're going to die. But if you don't drink any water, you could become dehydrated and still die, right? So no water is bad for you, but then a ton of water is bad for you. And so where is the middle ground? That's brahmacharya. And then aparigraha is greed. So you want to stay away from greed. So those are the five yamas. And so I just want to go through and say, like, gosh, if this was a mirror, he was like, here are the yamas, and here's how you're not following this practice as a mirror. So ahimsa, non-harming. Non-harming doesn't just mean being a vegan. It means don't speak into others in a harmful way. Don't try to hurt others for whatever your reason might be. Within your truth, try not to hurt others. Animals, insects, your children, your spouse, yourself. Non-harming also comes into yourself. So, for example, this is very controversial. A lot of yogis become vegan because non-harming means don't harm the animals, don't kill the animals, don't use the animals, because it's harming to them. And some people don't eat animal products and become sick. And they are now harming their bodies instead of harming the animal, and that's still harming. And so it's less harmful to not be vegan anymore, to not be sick anymore. So that's just an example of how it's not cut and dry. Nothing in this is cut and dry. And the second one is satya, truthfulness, staying true. And you have to put yama 1 and yama 2 together. Just because you're going to tell the truth to somebody doesn't mean it has to be hurtful. So like, what is the truth? You can still say something truthful while trying to be gentle to somebody. That's how I used to teach it when I used to teach the yamas and the niyamas. And the third one is taking and stealing, asteya. This is where I'm not stealing your time by doing this. If I started back up yoga, but I'm keeping it from you. So as I was sitting there listening to this instructor talk about the yamas, I don't know if you can hear it, but there's propaganda driving by on the loudspeaker. So if I never did yoga ever again, I'm not taking anything from you, but I'm keeping something that I have so much to share. I have so much to share, and I've kept it from you for 4 years now, and it was truly my gift. My gift to the world. My gift to the world was trying to create a happier world. One yoga class at a time, one yoga pose at a time. What's wrong, mamas? You need a diaper change? Is it a baby? Is that a baby? Oh my goodness. So if you think about, I'm keeping it from you because I'm keeping it inside of me. And honestly, I've been keeping it from me too because I don't want to open it up and get into the hard and the gritty and the dirty and the scary. I don't want to. I want to sweep it under the carpet and say, F yoga. I don't want to do it anymore. That chapter of my life is over. I will go work out. I've put all of my physical energy into weightlifting and weight training and deadlifting and grunting and listening to mean, angry music for the past 4 years. And it felt so good to, if you think about like masculine and feminine, I've strayed away from the feminine of the physical body movements. And I've been in the masculine. I've been like, oh, and oh, and oh. I've been like trying to just be as rough and tough and hard as I possibly could be. And I've always been a strong yogi, not a flexible yogi. Mamas. Oh, let's open this. Look at all this. Wow. So, I've always been a strong yogi, not a flexible one, but I've been shying away from that feminine movement that comes in yoga. And we flowed yesterday in this yoga class that we took. And it felt good in my physical body to flow and to do sun salutations and to hop back into my chaturanga. Jeez Louise, I haven't hopped back in my chaturanga for 4 years, and I did it effortlessly. Like my body's been craving me to do it, and I didn't want to because I was like, man, I haven't hopped back in 4 years. What if I don't land? And my body just knew. My body knew how to do it. And so if we talk about yama number 2, your truth. If my body has not done a movement for 4 years and it just did it, my body's trying to tell me, girlfriend, this is what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be doing this. We've been wanting you to do this. And it felt like it was coming out in the yoga class. It was like, you haven't been living your truth. You haven't been speaking in non-harmful ways to yourself. You have been keeping this from yourself, and you've been keeping this from everybody else. And also the 4th yama, brahmacharya, moderation. Like, maybe I come back to yoga once a week. I don't know. Maybe I teach to you guys in not such a strict way. Maybe I come and create a yoga channel for moms with kiddos, with kids running around and interrupting me, and we have snacks and toys, and we don't have any dogs, but maybe we have a chaotic yoga channel. I don't know how it's gonna look yet. But maybe there needs to be some moderation, and not just like a yoga hurts, so I'm not doing it anymore. It's done. We're done with that. We're done with that because the messages that I've been getting saying that you miss it from me, I've been keeping it from you. And that's not cool. And then aparigraha, greed. That's the 5th yama. We want to stay away from greed. And it goes back with the 3rd one, asteya, non-stealing. I've been keeping it from you, and I've been greedy with my emotions. Because here's the thing. I'm going to ask you to open up your heart. I'm going to ask you to meditate. I'm going to ask you to do all of the hard work, and I'm going to talk it to you, and I'm going to speak it into you during our meditations and have you flow with your body and feel your emotions, and then I'm just going to shut everything down on my side. That's greedy with that's being greedy with my heart. My heart is so fragile. It's so big, it's so full, and yet it's so fragile. And I did the yoga class yesterday with Charles sitting right next to me, and at the end He looked me in my eyes and he said, "How was it?" And I just broke down and started crying. Because I don't want to be the yoga girl. It hurts too much. But it's boiling that it's missing from my life. And it needs to happen for me, for my healing process, because I have not mourned. I mean, I guess I've mourned internally, but I have not properly mourned. And I have not properly dealt with any of the feelings, and I'm angry with everybody, and I'm angry with Charles, and I'm angry with myself, and I need to overcome all of that, and I feel like the only way to overcome it is to stop pushing it under the rug. And that's all I've been doing for 4 years, is pushing it under the rug, pushing it away, going, nope, that's too hard. Nope, I'm not doing yoga. No longer teaching it, no longer doing it. And it took yesterday, starting the class with philosophy, and putting a mirror up to me of, you're not following the yamas in your life. And even if you don't teach a sun salutation, and even if you don't start your class sitting or standing, or even if you don't teach in person anymore, you're still not following what you lived for so long. It's not a religion, but it almost is. I don't know what it's gonna look like, and I'm not ready, but I'm jumping off the diving board, and it's not gonna be pretty, but I think I'm back. So welcome back. I love you. If you are like, Brie, that ship has sailed, I understand. I understand. I wouldn't want to practice with me either. I understand. That's all I have to say. But I love you, and I miss you, and I miss... Oh, bless you! Oh, bless you! I love you, and I miss you, and I hope you are all doing well, and I hope that the way that I am angry with so many moments during our studio's closure, that you can see that anything that I did to anything that I did to anger you was not to you. It was not to you. It was a reflection of the turmoil that was happening in me. There was so much turmoil. I mean, we were losing our business. We were losing our business. Charles's work. What's going on? We were losing our business. We were losing our dreams. We were losing everything. I mean, I was working from 5 a.m. in the morning to 11 p.m. at night in the studios, giving everything of myself. Everything of myself. And then just to throw it away, it was I was going through a really, 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 really rough time. And so if I said anything to you harsh or uncool, please know that it was not you. It was not you. It was me. It was everything that I was going through. It was my what's the word? that I'm looking for. I was incapable at that time of logical thinking. I still am. Golly, I still am really incapable of logical thinking, but that's who I am. Incapable of logical thinking. Anyways, leave me a comment. Send me a message on Instagram or Facebook. Really on Instagram a lot more than I am on Facebook these days, but I have a lot of yogis on Facebook, and that's why I'm not on Facebook. It's because my yogis are there, and most of my yogis left Instagram. But send me a message. Tell me what you want. What mamas, what mamas, what mamas, what mamas, what mamas, what mamas. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you miss, and I'll make a mixture of what you want and what I need to be able to give. And we'll work together. And I love you, and I miss you, and we're back. We're back. Okay, we'll talk soon.